We saw both President Trump, Gavin Newsom, among so many others, speaking at the World Economic Forum at Davos. Well, if there's anyone I know who could explain the World Economic Forum to this audience and what Davos is and why they're there and what it all means, it's your birthday. You take the lead on this. Go ahead.
Davos.
You have 3.5 minutes.
There you go. Davos is the name that they colloquially call the World Economic Forum's annual conference that happens in Davos, Switzerland.
It's abbreviated.
They refer to it as Davos. Yeah. So it's kind of an invite-only conference with political leaders, world leaders, CEOs, NGOs, academics, and they all get together and they pontificate about things and they speak about things and they offer ideas about the future of the world. And it's kind of the worst of the worst globalism on display. What is different about this year in what we're seeing is the way the Trump administration is positioning themselves and kind of preaching this America First ideology that is what got the Trump administration into office on this stage with people that disagree with it completely.
You initially, and maybe you should, you maybe shudder at the sound of it existing. It's like the United Nations. There is that bit of New World Order, that comes off of that, or The Hague, the International Criminal Court. It all kind of feels like it lives in this same universe of creep.
Well, and when you look at who's hanging out together, and I think we have this image. This is from Alex Soros's Instagram account, where he's hanging out with none other than Gavin Newsom, and he's saying, catching up with the real star of the 2026 World Economic Forum, my friend Gavin Newsom. So glad he's here, calling out world leaders for believing appeasement works when it comes to Trump. It doesn't. It only emboldens him to become more chaotic and destructive. World leaders could take a page out of Newsom's book. It's time to stand tall, stand firm, and stand united before it's too late. And that echoes very closely the words of Gavin Newsom himself speaking to reporters. And let's go ahead and run bite 4. This is where he is calling out world leaders about the way that they're working with Trump, and that actually, let's play bite 5. I like this one too, because he's going on this tirade against world leaders that they need to stand up against America. Let's roll it.
I mean, handing out crowns and this is pathetic. Nobel Prizes that are being given away. I mean, it's just pathetic. And I hope people understand how pathetic they look on the world stage. I mean, at least from an American perspective, it's embarrassing.
So what should Europe be doing?
You should decide, the Europeans should decide for themselves what to do. But one thing they can't do is what they've been doing. And they've been playing. This guy's playing folks for fools, and it's embarrassing.
And once again,
it's Gavin Newsom now playing another character.
That's right.
Now he's playing the character of the full anti-Trump. How dare he? He's embarrassing. He's pathetic. And look, if he had been consistent with that, fine, whatever. I don't really care. You could say whatever you want. You may think that some of those things are silly and goofy. Fine. I don't really have any problem with you thinking that way. The problem is when 6 months ago, he was going to be the moderate who was going to bring you to the table.
Well, I think he's also trying to show himself on the world stage that he can be this world leader, that he can really work with the Europeans and do something different than what we're seeing President Trump do. I think it's very telling that Alex Soros, who is the son of George Soros, who now runs the entire
George Soros
is
like 100 years
He's
old.
95, right? I mean, very close to 100, born in 1930. And he is at this point where his son, Alex Soros, runs everything. So the George Soros boogeyman that has been in American politics for financing all the leftist candidates, all the leftist district attorneys that we know the money has been poured into, that's all being run by Alex Soros. Also married to Huma Abedin, the former close aide to Hillary Clinton. Like this entire liberal global
40,
elite network.
He's a 40-year-old man. He's the same age as Will and I. I think I just spoiled it, Will. You're 40 years old.
I think you said it earlier,
I did,
too.
But we're 40-year-old men. Me, Will, and Alexander Soros. We're very similar.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you look at this, though, we know who clearly Alex Soros is going to be backing in 2028. I think that has already been shown, so that means the big money is going to be on Gavin Newsom. But when you also, I want to contrast with that message that is being told by Gavin Newsom to reporters there with what Howard Lutnick, as one of the close advisors of the president, is saying about this America First kind of model and everything. This is bite 13. And I think it's very important because he's calling out the globalism that conservatives in America have called out for a long time, but we're even more concerned about in the wake of the Biden administration and what happened during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, before I pitch to it again, who is this and why is he there?
So Howard Lutnick is one of the close advisors. He's the economic advisor, does a lot of deals for President Trump as well. And he's there as a representative of the Trump administration.
I just want to give you all the information so you understand who you're hearing from and why you're hearing it from.
Right. And when it's a cabinet member position, it's well, you see Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, Howard Lutnick being the Commerce Secretary.
I think some people may interchange those two and not be sure.
Right,
who we're
exactly.
talking about.
But so you have both of these, and we have bite also from Scott Bessent. When they are there giving these things, this is on behalf of the administration. They are speaking from a position of authority. But let's go ahead and roll this. This is bite 13 from Howard Lutnick.
We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first.
And he keeps going on about that and saying that we want you, the world, to think about your own people. He's saying that this idea of globalism and what the WEF, that's the World Economic Forum, the very place he's speaking, has stood for is the wrong path. It's the wrong thing for your people. It's the wrong thing for your economies. And that's what we've seen at home, the focus not being this globalization, this interconnected economies with all of our trading partners. We've seen it through, whether it be tariffs, whether it be the way that our diplomacy has worked, the focus on bringing manufacturing back to the United States and helping Americans live a better life. He's also not saying, and everyone needs to continue to invest in us. He's saying, you need to think about your people. This is the better way forward. And that is such a stark contrast to what even Gavin Newsom is saying, resist. When you put those next to each other, where Gavin Newsom is saying you are not being strong enough against Donald Trump, and the message from the Trump administration and the Secretary of Commerce here is take care of your people. That should be a campaign ad against someone like Gavin Newsom. But here's what the Treasury Secretary, we've played Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, here's what Scott Bessent said at Davos just yesterday about Gavin Newsom being there and some of the statements he's been saying. Let's go ahead and roll bite 1 from the United States Treasury Secretary.
It's very, very ironic that Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris. He's here this week with his billionaire sugar daddy, Alex Soros, and the Davos is a perfect place for a man who, when everyone else was on lockdown, when he was having people arrested for going to church, he was having $1,000 a night meals at the French Laundry. And I'm sure the California people won't forget that.
And once again, I do love that he brought up he was trying to have people arrested for going to church, because remember, we at the ACLJ are still fighting at the Supreme Court for the over $1 million fine that Gavin Newsom is still trying to get from Calvary Chapel, San Jose. So that fight doesn't end.